right, folks. To quote Mike Goldberg, is time. Actually, no, wait, that's not Mike Goldberg. That's actually Bruce Buffer. Sorry about that. It's been a late night for me. It's confusing. But that's neither here nor there. All right, time to do my UFC 199 Rockhold versus Bisping 2 picks. I'm going to try to be pretty straightforward with this. Doesn't seem like it would be that too difficult to make most predictions here. I'm going to go through the main card, the pay-per-view portion, fairly in-depth, and then just kind of give you my quick hits for the Fox Sports 1 and Facebook fights. And I apologize for the noise going on in the background. When you live in the ghetto like I do, it's kind of hard to not be distracted by the sounds of bric-a-brac and all sorts of other noise pollution going on in the environs. But regardless, Luke Rockhold versus Michael Bisping. It's a rematch. Obviously, they had that fight in, was it 2013 or 2014? Well, anyway, regardless, Michael Bisping got choked out. He got choked out second round early. It was one of the worst losses he's ever had. He's probably definitely one of the worst he's had in the UFC. And Luke Rockhold, of course, we know him as a guy who beat up on Chris Weidman. Very, very versatile guy, and I can kind of run down the stats here and say, well, Rockhold, he's got a height advantage. He's got a significant reach advantage. He's more accurate with significant strikes. He's eating less punches per fight. But, obviously submissions, he's got a huge advantage over Bisping. But when you look at this fight, Bisping, you look at the last couple of wins he's had, those have not been commanding victories. He almost lost to Anderson Silva. That wasn't exactly, and he barely beat Thales Lites. So, he's on a winning streak, but he's not actually going out there and, dominating. It's not like he's like a chain of dead bodies he's left behind him his last three fights heading against Rockhold. So, I think this matchup, Bisping is going to fare a little bit better than he did in the first fight. I think he makes it the third round. I think the first round will be very competitive. But once Bisping can't get the takedown set up, obviously Rockhold's a better striker. Definitely don't want to take this to the ground with Rockhold on top because of his submission skills. I think we're going to see Rockhold start to break out the wrestling approach in round 2. And then round 3, he just unloads and he goes to the submission. And second verse, same as the first. I'm going to go with Rockhold winning submission round 3. All right. And our co-main event, another championship bout. Dominic Cruz taking on Uriah Faber. This is a rubber match. Faber beat Cruz back in 2007. Then Cruz beat Faber a couple of years back. Cruz obviously had that huge long layoff. He's got both of his ACLs are bad. So he's looked really good in his last couple of fights. Went out there and he beat, what's his name? God, I can't believe I forgot his name. Not TJ Grant. Not Rafael Dos Anjos. Okay, El Condom. I can't believe that. It's really late now if I can't think of that. But yeah, he come back and he won the championship. And, really, what more can you say? So in this fight, normally, in normal circumstances, all things considered, if both guys were healthy, I would give this to Dominic Cruz. I just think he's a better fighter in just about every category at the juncture. However, I think he's going into this fight and he's limping. There's something he's not giving away. I think he's not 100%. I think Faber is definitely healthier. And I think in this fight, Cruz can go in there. He's going to get chipped away. His armor's going to go down. By the second round, he's going to be showing some signs of real peril. Faber plays it smart, drags him down the third round. And then in the fourth, that's when he finally gets him. He catches him. Submission. And Uriah Faber on his fourth shot at the Bantamweight Championship finally wins UFC gold. So that should be a really good fight. I'm going to try to stick around to catch that. This is going to be a really great historical feel-good moment for the sport. Max Holloway taking on Ricardo Lamas. Holloway, he's been on a really impressive streak here. Just looking at the records here, obviously got a height advantage for Holloway. But it's strange because Ricardo Lamas, despite the fact that he's a couple inches shorter than Max Holloway, actually has a significant reach advantage. But Holloway has the leg reach advantage, so what does that tell you? So yeah, Max Holloway's landing 5.5 significant strides per minute compared to 2.47 for Lamas. Defense, obviously significantly better for Holloway. Of course, Lamas is a better wrestler, getting more averages as far as the takedown per fight. But Holloway has better takedown accuracy, better takedown defense. And even though Ricardo Lamas has a better submission average, Holloway, his game is you can't take him down. He's going to knock you out standing. And I think it's going to be a pretty interesting matchup. I think Lamas will try to keep pace for the first round, but I think by the time the second rolls around, Holloway starts rolling. And he goes in there, and I think he grounds out a unanimous decision victory. I want to say he's going to finish him, but something's kind of stopping me. Regardless, I'm going to go with Max Holloway, and then you got to start thinking, when's this dude getting a title shot? In our completely irresponsible matchup of the night, and perhaps match of the year, we've got Dan Henderson at the ripe age of 46 taking on Hector Lombard. And Hector Lombard, he's pretty old himself. I mean, he's around 40. But good God, the fact that the UN isn't protesting this fight being booked is just beyond me. What can I say? Hendo, he's got considerable height advantage, the reach advantage. You look at the stats, I mean, they're surprisingly even. This is actually a lot closer fight than it appears. And in fact, if you go to the stats, looking at significant strikes absorbed per minute, it actually favors Henderson. He's probably the better defensive fighter. Takedown averages pretty even. Submissions average pretty even. But Dan Henderson is old. This is a dude who's way past his prime and frankly should not be fighting. Hector Lombard, not the fighter he used to be, but still considerably at an advantage with this one. I think Lombard goes in there first round. He literally knocks Dan Henderson's head off. He goes in there, one shot, absolute rocket launcher. Henderson is forced to retirement because you can't fight when you get decapitated. Not even close, just an absolute disaster waiting to happen. I can't wait to see it. Should be great. All right, in our curtain jerker for the main card, Dustin Poirier taking on Bobby Green. Probably the most competitive matchup, I think, probably in the entire card as far as I think being evenly matched. Reach advantage pretty much identical, height identical. Both these guys have similar striking statistics in terms of accuracy and defense. Takedown average wow, this is one of the most evenly contested fights I've seen in a long time. In fact, the only major statistical differences are when you look at Bobby Green, he's definitely doing better defending the takedown. But Dustin Poirier, not to be confused with Dustin Diamond, even though Dustin Poirier's nickname is the Diamond. So you have that weird illusion to Saved by the Bell I don't really want to get into. He's actually got better submissions. It should be an interesting matchup. I think it goes the distance. I think it really could go either way. I think Poirier gets the first round, Green gets the second round, and Poirier barely gets the third, and he scraps by with a split decision victory. So all that should be good. So yeah, looking like a really good card. I mean, I've complained about the UFC product for a while now, but just looking at the last couple of shows, UFC 197, 198, especially coming up with 2000, which could be the most stacked card we've ever had in the UFC. I mean, this is a good time to be a fan. Maybe the best time to be a UFC fan since 2010. So no complaints from me. All right, very, very, very quickly, the FS1 prelims. Brian Ortega taking on Clay Guida. Don't even think about it. Ortega wins this one. Second round knockout or TKO. Benel taking Darius taking on James Vick. I'm going to go with James Vick by a third round submission. Jessica Pine taking on Jessica Andrade. I'm going to go with Pine by unanimous decision victory. We got Cole Miller taking on Alex Caceres because BJ Penn can't pass a drug test. I'm going to go Cole Miller by a third round TKO. Prelim, Sean Strickland is Tom Breeze. I'm going to go with Strickland by unanimous decision. Jonathan Wilson against Luis Henrique da Silva. His nickname is Frankenstein, but Jonathan Wilson is nicknamed Johnny Bravo. So guess I'm going with there. Going to go with Bravo. I got him winning second round stoppage. TKO. We got Kevin Casey taking on Elvis Mudapchik. I'm not really sure you pronounce that last name. But I got him winning first round TKO. Just got a feeling. Can't explain it. Just think it's going to happen. And really, one of the biggest shockers I've seen in a long time. Former welterweight contender Dong Stun Gun Kyun Kim taking on a guy named Polo Reyes to open up the Facebook fights. Whew, fall from grace. So basically, yeah, Dong Hong, he does not, Dong Hyun Kim. Sorry, I don't want to be too stereotypical here and sound like the average American fight fan. He's got to win this one. I mean, for God's sakes, his opponent's name translates into Chicken King, for crying out loud. So I'm going to go with Dong Hyun Kim to go in there and win this fight by unanimous decision. So there you go. UFC 199 coming out this weekend from LA. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm not being, my usual sarcastic self. It's a great time to be a UFC fan, and I commend them. I commend them so much for this product, and here's hoping to some more good times in the future.